Black Myth Wukong looks to be one of, if not the best games of 2024. Now, it's not really a Souls-like game, but it does look like it is very, very heavily inspired by the Souls-like franchise and kind of genre. And honestly, this game looks incredible. This game was first revealed and teased back in 2020, and this is one of those games where I remember exactly where I was watching this trailer and just being in complete disarray about it. Honestly, ever since then, every single time we've seen the game, at least in my opinion anyway, I think it's looked really good, and it's one of those games where it just continues to look better and better every single time, even though it already looked really good. Now, even though we are pretty much a month and a few days out from this game releasing, we still don't know too much about the game. Now, there was a lot of assumptions when the game first was kind of showcased and announced that this was going to be a Souls-like type of game, but it looks like, at least from the people who got to play it early and have some hands-on with it, that this game is a Unreal Engine 5 based game that's an action RPG, which is more generic than a Souls-like and misses some of that like From Software kind of pizzazz that games like Elden Ring have. But I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. Now, this game doesn't look like it's going to have an endless progression system or really even a story that is worth getting super heavily invested in. But apparently this game is, or at least Wukong in the game, is based on a Chinese novel called Journey to the West. Now, I have no idea what happens in that novel. I have no idea what that is. I'm just a really out of touch person, but I'm going to leave the article that I'm using to reference this portion of the video in the description. Essentially, this novel has Sun Wukong battle bosses inspired by the 6th Sea text, which is something to do in that genre. I don't really know. But I think that's important to highlight because this game does look very heavily based in Chinese mythology. And I don't want to say anything that's wrong because I don't follow that mythology or ideology or religion or anything like that. I'm not Chinese, so my opinion here doesn't really matter. And I don't even want to say it looks authentic because sounds not that good to say coming from myself, but I think it does hold kind of that value system. At least it feels that way from someone who is looking at it from the outside. This game looks to be pretty authentic. It looks to be following a lot of the things it should, and I think it overall looks great. Now, I don't think we've gotten too much in regards to how difficult this game is going to be. We might have gotten something about how it's a lot more accessible to kind of the mass majority of players rather than the people who assumed it was going to be a Souls-like game. But for myself, I don't really care if it's too difficult or not. I'm not one of those people who bitches and moans about games being too hard like a lot of the people did with the Elden Ring DLC. But I personally think that making it more accessible for a game coming from the size of the studio that this game is coming from is a really great stepping stone. Apparently, there's like a whole transformation system. Again, this is one of those games where I haven't really been following too closely, and I'm really looking more into the game right now for this video than I have pretty much since it was announced. I'm really trying to just go into games as blindly as possible nowadays, which with doing a YouTube channel about games and gaming news and game retrospectives is not a very good idea. But the overall art design for this game is insane. Like, I cannot wait to play this game on Steam. I think it already, honestly, from the trailers looks really good, and obviously trailers don't show just how gorgeous a game could actually be because they have to be optimized and only certain things are shown or anything like that. But I personally think that the cutscenes and the gameplay and the art direction, just overall in every single screenshot and image that we've gotten, it looks insanely good. I'm really excited to see how the game kind of opens itself up. Now, I've kind of been reading some of these firsthand on impressions. It seems like the game is pretty linear. It doesn't have too much of an open environment to play around. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, it does. A lot of the people who played the game early did say that there are a lot of different lanes that you can kind of run down and explore and gather things from, and I think that's a really smart thing to do. Again, this is an action RPG. It's not really like a fully open world experience, and I'm okay with this. I'm kind of hoping this game isn't that long too, because I don't want this game to kind of overstay its welcome. I think that if they do it properly and if everything is done well, that this game is going to hit every single mark it needs to. Now, I have seen and heard through many grapevines and many articles that there are so many bosses in this game. That doesn't really attribute to the game's overall length, because there's probably going to be bosses and fights that are optional, and I don't count as like I don't see the game's length equal to how many bosses you have to beat the game. Does that make sense? I don't know if that really makes sense or not. But man, the combat in this game, it looks so good. Like, just to reference, I think Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring are two of my favorite combat systems from most recent times. This combat system, in my opinion, looks to be on that level. And if it can capture that without being too floaty or feeling too clunky or anything like that, I think this game is going to be a hit, to be honest. That's the other thing too, is pretty much everyone who's been able to touch this game in any sort of capacity. Pause. Hold on. It seems like most people who have gotten their hands on this game, there's no good way of saying this sentence, is there? Pretty much everyone who's played this game so far has said that it's very good. There really hasn't been a lot of major backlash. Now, with that, I don't trust reviewers whatsoever. I go off how a lot of my friends think, people like Podcast Now, or Alex, how he thinks about games, but also like close friends I have in my personal life, because I do have those. I know it's weird. I go off of what those people think. I don't go off of journalists. I don't read reviews. I don't do any of that shit. Now, if you do, totally cool. I'm never going to lie to you guys, to be completely honest. I tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking all the time, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know yet. But I'm really excited for this game. It's definitely a day one purchase for me. We'll see if I get burned or not with that. But yeah, let me know if you are excited for Black Myth Wukong. The channel's been growing like crazy. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for everything. You guys are fucking incredible. I mean, the other day we gained over 100 subscribers in under 24 hours, which is never something that I really thought I would be able to say. This isn't me trying to get sappy or anything. I'm going to do that in a different video that's probably going up before this one. But again, I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Anyways, with that, I'm going to go record some more videos. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.